Welcome back to the channel. Today we will explore a very important topic for health. Whether skipping breakfast is helpful or harmful. This topic has sparked passionate discussions in both nutrition circles and everyday households. You've probably heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but recent research suggests the truth might be more complex and more personal than we've been told. Why should we care? Well, millions of Americans skip breakfast every day, some due to time constraints, others as part of popular diets like intermittent fasting. Meanwhile, nutrition guidelines have long recommended starting your day with a balanced meal. So, who's right? Does skipping breakfast damage your health, or could it actually offer some surprising benefits? In a 2020 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, researchers found that individuals who skipped breakfast had a different insulin response after lunch, potentially indicating metabolic strain. But other studies, including a large review published in BMJ, found that skipping breakfast does not automatically lead to weight gain or poor health outcomes. In fact, it may help certain people reduce calorie intake. If you find this content helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the Daily Energy channel for more inspiring health videos. Also, leave a comment. Do you usually eat breakfast or skip it? Has it made a difference in your energy or focus? Now let's dive into the roots of this debate. For decades, breakfast has been marketed as essential. In the 1940s, food companies in the US began promoting breakfast cereals heavily, using slogans that linked morning meals with productivity, strength, and even morality. This narrative became so deeply embedded in public consciousness that not eating breakfast was often seen as neglectful. But times are changing. Today, about 1 in 5 adults in the US skip breakfast regularly. This change is driven partly by evolving work patterns, the rise of intermittent fasting, and growing skepticism about traditional dietary advice. Modern science has started to catch up with these shifts, prompting a re-examination of whether skipping breakfast is truly detrimental. One major challenge in understanding this topic is how we define breakfast. For example, is a cup of coffee at 8 a.m. breakfast? What if your first meal is at 11 a.m.? The term breakfast technically means breaking the fast, but this can happen at any time of day. So when studies talk about skipping breakfast, they may be referring to a wide variety of habits. We also need to consider who is skipping breakfast and why. There is a big difference between someone who mindfully delays eating as part of a health strategy and someone who skips breakfast because of chronic stress or food insecurity. Context matters. Let's look at some data. According to a 2022 CDC report, about 15% of high school students in the US never eat breakfast on school days. Among adults, men are more likely to skip breakfast than women, and skipping is most common among younger adults aged 18 to 29. Income, education, and lifestyle all play a role. When it comes to health outcomes, the evidence is mixed. A Harvard study tracking 27,000 men over 16 years found that those who skipped breakfast had a 27% higher risk of heart disease. But this correlation weakened when researchers adjusted for lifestyle factors like smoking and physical activity. Another study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found no significant difference in weight between breakfast eaters and skippers when both groups followed similar calorie-controlled diets. So what are we to make of this? It seems clear that breakfast isn't universally good or bad. Its impact depends heavily on your individual metabolism, lifestyle, and the quality of your other meals. For example, someone who exercises in the morning and needs fuel might benefit from a nutrient-rich breakfast. On the other hand, someone who feels more focused or energetic when eating later in the day may thrive without it. It also matters what you eat. A sugary cereal or donut isn't likely to offer long-term benefits, whereas a balanced meal with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs can support steady energy and hormonal balance. In the sections ahead, we'll break down how breakfast affects your metabolism. Section 2, Energy and Weight Control, Section 3, how it compares with intermittent fasting, Section 4, and how to make the right decision for your body, Section 5. But for now, remember this: health advice should always be personalized. One-size-fits-all recommendations rarely reflect the diversity of human bodies, lifestyles, and goals. Let us know in the comments. Have you tried skipping breakfast, or do you feel better when you start your day with food? We'd love to hear your experience. Stay tuned, because next we'll explore the science of metabolism and what really happens inside your body when you skip breakfast. Section 2. Metabolism Myths and Morning Meals. Let's begin by addressing one of the most enduring beliefs in nutrition, that eating breakfast jumpstarts your metabolism. You've probably heard this phrase repeated by trainers, doctors, or even on cereal commercials. But what does it actually mean? And is it scientifically true? To answer this, we need to define metabolism. In simple terms, metabolism refers to the chemical processes that convert food into energy your body can use. This includes both catabolism, breaking things down, and anabolism, building things up. Your basal metabolic rate, BMR, is the number of calories your body burns at rest just to keep vital functions going. The idea that breakfast boosts metabolism comes from early observational studies. These studies showed that breakfast eaters tend to weigh less and have better blood sugar levels. However, newer randomized controlled trials, RCTs, the gold standard in research, paint a more nuanced picture. One well-known RCT from Bath University in the UK, 2014, divided participants into two groups. One ate breakfast, the other skipped it. After 6 weeks, there was no significant difference in resting metabolic rate between the groups. In fact, both groups burned a similar number of calories over the day. The key difference? The breakfast eaters moved more during the morning, which slightly increased their energy expenditure, but not dramatically. So does that mean breakfast is useless for metabolism? Not exactly. For some individuals, eating in the morning can stabilize blood sugar levels, which reduces hunger later in the day and helps prevent overeating. This is especially true for people with blood sugar sensitivity, such as those with type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance. But for others, particularly those who aren't hungry in the morning, forcing a meal can backfire, leading to unnecessary calorie intake and digestive discomfort. A 2017 study from the University of Alabama found that intermittent fasters who skipped breakfast but ate within an 8-hour window later in the day maintained insulin sensitivity and even lost weight. This highlights a core truth in nutrition. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs your sleep-wake and digestive cycles, plays a big role in how your body processes food. For example, eating large meals late at night may disrupt insulin sensitivity and digestion, while eating earlier aligns more closely with natural hormonal patterns. Interestingly, a study from Tel Aviv University, 2013, showed that eating a large breakfast, around 700 kilocalories, improved weight loss and blood sugar control compared to eating the same number of calories at dinner. The participants who ate more in the morning had lower levels of the hunger hormone ghrelin, which helped them feel fuller throughout the day. So what's the takeaway here? Breakfast doesn't inherently rev up your metabolism like a switch. It may help with appetite regulation, particularly if it includes protein, fiber, and healthy fats. The timing and size of meals should match your daily energy needs, activity level, and natural hunger cues. A protein-rich breakfast might include eggs, Greek yogurt, tofu scramble, or a smoothie with nut butter and spinach. These foods help keep you full, provide amino acids for muscle repair, and support blood sugar control. On the other hand, a carb-heavy breakfast with low protein, like a muffin or sugary cereal, can lead to a blood sugar spike followed by a crash, making you feel tired or irritable by mid-morning. In the end, metabolism is about balance. There's no magic meal that can override your body's overall energy needs and lifestyle habits. If you're someone who wakes up naturally hungry and energized by eating, breakfast can be a valuable part of your routine. If you prefer to delay your first meal until later and still meet your nutritional goals, that's valid too. Section 3. Weight, energy, and hormones. Let's now turn to one of the biggest reasons people think about skipping or eating breakfast: weight control. There's a widespread belief that skipping breakfast leads to weight gain and that breakfast eaters are naturally leaner. But again, the science reveals a more nuanced story. Some large population studies, like those from the National Weight Control Registry, suggest that people who maintain long-term weight loss often report eating breakfast daily. But this doesn't mean breakfast causes weight loss. It might simply reflect other healthy behaviors, like meal planning or physical activity. In fact, several randomized controlled trials have shown no significant difference in weight between breakfast eaters and skippers when both groups are eating the same number of calories overall. One meta-analysis published in the BMJ in 2019 concluded that adding breakfast may not be a good strategy for weight loss, particularly if it leads to increased total daily intake. That said, skipping breakfast can impact your hunger hormones, especially ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is known as the hunger hormone, and it tends to rise when you're fasting or undereating. Leptin, on the other hand, signals fullness and is influenced by your body's fat stores and meal patterns. When you skip breakfast, ghrelin can surge later in the day, which may lead to intense cravings or overeating in the evening. This is particularly true if your first meal is low in protein or fat, which helps you feel full. A well-balanced breakfast can help regulate these hormones and keep your appetite more stable. There's also the energy factor. Some people report feeling sluggish, unfocused, or irritable when they skip breakfast, often referred to as hanger. This may be due to drops in blood sugar, especially if the body is not well adapted to fasting. Others, especially those practicing intermittent fasting consistently, may feel more alert and clear-headed when skipping their morning meal. This variability highlights the role of metabolic flexibility, your body's ability to efficiently switch between burning glucose and fat. In terms of performance, especially mental focus and physical activity, breakfast can play a supportive role. Studies show that children and adolescents perform better on memory and concentration tasks after eating breakfast. For adults, the data is mixed. Some show improvements in sustained attention. Others show no difference. For physically active individuals, especially those training in the morning, skipping breakfast may reduce performance if muscle glycogen stores are already low. However, some endurance athletes train in a fasted state to boost fat oxidation. Again, context matters. So what does this all mean? Eating breakfast doesn't guarantee weight loss, but skipping it might trigger compensatory eating later, depending on your body's hormonal response. A balanced breakfast can help stabilize blood sugar, reduce cravings, and support energy levels. Whether or not you feel better with breakfast depends on your unique physiology, schedule, and how well nourished the rest of your meals are. If your goal is weight management, focus on overall calorie balance, food quality, and consistency, not just breakfast. Prioritize protein-rich, nutrient-dense foods when you do eat, and listen to your body's hunger cues. Next, we'll look at how breakfast fits into the larger picture of intermittent fasting, and what the research says about skipping that first meal as part of a fasting routine. Section 4. Intermittent fasting versus traditional breakfast. Welcome back. In this section, we're going to tackle a hot trend in nutrition: intermittent fasting, and how it compares with the traditional approach of eating breakfast daily. If you've ever wondered whether skipping breakfast counts as fasting, or if it's actually helping or hurting your health, this is where we get into the details. Intermittent fasting, EAF, has gained massive popularity in recent years, especially in the US. From celebrities to Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, many people swear by its benefits, ranging from weight loss to better focus to anti-aging effects. One of the most common methods is the 16-8 fast, where you eat during an 8-hour window and fast for the remaining 16 hours. This typically means skipping breakfast and starting your first meal around noon. So how does IF compare to traditional breakfast eating when it comes to health? Research shows that intermittent fasting can lead to reduced calorie intake, improved insulin sensitivity, and weight loss, especially when the fasting protocol is followed consistently. In a 2019 study published in Cell Metabolism, participants who ate all their meals between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. had lower blood pressure, reduced oxidative stress, and improved insulin sensitivity, even though they didn't lose weight. This suggests that meal timing itself can influence health markers independently of weight change. However, it's important to distinguish intentional fasting from skipping breakfast without structure. The former is a mindful, scheduled practice. The latter often reflects a chaotic routine, stress, or lack of planning. And the health outcomes between the two can be very different. Some studies also indicate that early time-restricted eating earlier in the day, may be more beneficial than eating late. Our bodies follow a circadian rhythm, and consuming calories earlier may align better with natural hormone cycles and digestive efficiency. A 2020 study from the University of Alabama showed that eating all meals before 3 p.m. resulted in greater fat loss and better metabolic markers compared to a typical eating window of noon to 8 p.m., even when the total calories were identical. So yes, skipping breakfast can be part of a healthy fasting routine, but only when it's done deliberately and paired with nutrient-dense meals later in the day. Let's also talk about who benefits most from intermittent fasting. Evidence suggests it can be effective for people with insulin resistance or prediabetes, overweight individuals looking to reduce body fat, those with a sedentary lifestyle or desk jobs. On the flip side, intermittent fasting may not be ideal for pregnant or breastfeeding women, individuals with a history of eating disorders, athletes who train in the morning and need fuel for performance, people with thyroid or adrenal issues who are sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations. Another consideration is long-term sustainability. While many people see benefits early on, others find fasting difficult to maintain over months or years, especially in social or family settings. Remember, the best dietary approach is the one you can stick with long-term. If you do choose to try intermittent fasting, make sure your eating window includes plenty of protein to maintain muscle mass, healthy fats to support hormone function, colorful vegetables and fiber for digestion and nutrient density, hydration, lots of water, herbal tea, or black coffee during the fasting window. Lastly, don't fall for the idea that fasting gives you a free pass to eat anything during your eating window. Processed snacks, refined carbs, and sugary drinks will still undermine your progress, fasting or not. So, to wrap up, skipping breakfast can be part of intermittent fasting, but it needs to be intentional. Early eating windows often show better health outcomes than late ones. Whether or not you skip breakfast, the quality of what you eat matters just as much as the timing. In the final section, we'll pull everything together and help you determine what's right for your lifestyle and body. We'll offer practical strategies for tuning into your hunger, supporting your goals, and choosing the approach that feels most energizing and sustainable for you. See you there. Section 5. What works for you? A practical guide. Welcome to the final section of our exploration into the science and practicality of breakfast. By now, we've examined the long-standing beliefs, the metabolic mechanisms, the hormonal responses, and the rising trend of intermittent fasting. But what does this all mean for you, your body, your lifestyle, your goals? Let's simplify this with a practical, personal approach. The first step is to tune into your body's signals. Are you naturally hungry in the morning? Do you feel more energized after eating or sluggish? Some people genuinely feel better skipping breakfast, while others notice dips in energy or focus. Your hunger cues are powerful messengers. Don't ignore them. Instead of sticking to rigid rules, let your body guide your timing. If you wake up with a strong appetite, it may indicate higher morning cortisol or that you're underfed from the day before. Eating a nourishing breakfast in this case can prevent overeating later and help stabilize your energy. On the other hand, if you're not hungry until mid-morning or later, forcing food may not serve you. This could be your body telling you it's efficiently burning stored energy, a sign of good metabolic flexibility. So how can you build a routine that works? Here are 3 approaches, each with actionable strategies. 1. The balanced breakfast routine. Ideal for early risers, physically active individuals, people with blood sugar issues. Eat within 1 to 2 hours of waking up. Include 20 to 30 kilos of protein, eggs, Greek yogurt, protein shake. Add healthy fats, avocado, nuts, seeds, and complex carbs, whole oats, berries. Avoid sugary cereals or pastries that spike insulin and crash your energy. Consider prepping breakfast the night before. Overnight oats, chia pudding, frittata muffins. 2. The flexible eating window. Modified ICF. Ideal for people who prefer later meals, beginners to intermittent fasting. Start eating between 10 a.m. and noon. Keep your eating window to 8 to 10 hours, e.g., 10 a.m. 6 p.m. or 11 a.m. 7 p.m. Prioritize quality over quantity. Protein, fiber, and hydration are essential. Don't skip your first meal. Make it count with real, whole foods. Avoid binging or compensating for the missed breakfast with high-calorie snacks. 3. The mindful fast with early eating. Ideal for experienced fasters, metabolic health goals. Finish your last meal by 5 to 6 p.m. Eat your first meal around 8 to 10 a.m. Stay hydrated in the morning. Water, black coffee, herbal tea. Ensure each meal is nutrient-dense to sustain the longer overnight fast. Monitor your energy, mood, and sleep. Adjust if fasting affects any of these. In all cases, consistency matters more than perfection. Whether you choose to eat at 7 a.m. or 1 p.m., what you do most of the time will shape your results. Let's also not forget the emotional and social side of eating. Breakfast can be a moment of connection. Sharing pancakes with your kids or sipping coffee with your partner. If it brings joy and grounding, that alone can be reason enough to keep it in your routine. And for those who want a middle ground, try a light, low-glycemic morning start. A boiled egg and tea, a slice of avocado toast, a protein-rich smoothie. It doesn't have to be a full spread, just enough to support your body and brain. To summarize this journey, breakfast is not inherently good or bad. It depends on your individual needs. Skipping breakfast can support metabolic goals if done mindfully. The quality and timing of your meals affect your hormones, energy, and weight. Personalized nutrition is the key. Listen to your body, track your patterns, and adjust. Healthcare is a daily journey. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive. If you found this video useful, please share it with your loved ones. Subscribe to Daily Energy to be a companion every day. And don't forget to comment. What's your experience with breakfast? What works best for your body and lifestyle? Until next time, stay energized, stay curious, and take good care.